Here's a question worth thinking about. If someone gave you $1,000,000 right now, what would you do with your life? Not what would you buy, but what would you actually do? What would you wake up excited about? If you're sitting there thinking, I don't know, that's not alone. Most people your age, and honestly, most adults have no idea either. But here's the thing, that not knowing, that's actually the biggest problem you'll face in life. Let's break it down. You know how everyone's always telling you to work hard, get good grades, go to college, get a job? That's not bad advice, but nobody's asking the most important question. Work hard toward what? Good grades for what? A job doing what? It's like if someone handed you your phone with Google Maps open and said, start walking. You'd look at them like they were crazy. Walking where? To what? Without a destination, you're just wandering around wasting battery. That's what most people do with their entire lives. They're moving, they're busy, they're doing stuff, but they have no clue where they're actually trying to go. Now imagine someone said walk to the coffee shop on Main Street. Boom, everything changes. You know exactly which direction to head. You know if you're getting closer or going the wrong way. Every step has a purpose. That's what having a clear vision does for your life. Think about the people around you right now. How many of them actually know what they want? Not what they think they should want, not what would look good on Instagram, what they actually, truly want for their life. Probably not many. And that's because most of us are surrounded by people who have plans for our lives. Parents, teachers, relatives, everyone has an opinion about what you should do. And their ideas aren't bad. They want you to be safe, to be stable, to have a normal, comfortable life. But here's the reality check. Comfortable for them might not be comfortable for you. Their dreams for you might feel like wearing someone else's clothes. Sure, they're clothes, they might even be nice clothes, but they don't fit. You might not be able to put it into words yet, but you probably know that feeling. Like when you're playing a video game that everyone says is amazing, but you're just not feeling it. That's not a problem with the game, it's just not your game. The game changer happens when you see someone living a life that makes you go, that's what I want. Not their exact life, because that would be copying, but the kind of life they have, the freedom, the excitement, the way they spend their days doing something they actually care about. That moment is like your brain just clicking, like when you've been trying to solve a math problem for 20 minutes and suddenly you see how it works. Everything makes sense. When you make that decision, when you commit to building that kind of life for yourself, something wild happens. School doesn't feel like such a drag anymore. Practicing your skills doesn't feel like a chore. Waking up early doesn't suck as much because now everything you're doing is leading somewhere you actually want to go. Your friends might ask, how do you stay focused? How do you not get bored? Why are you always working on that thing? And you'll be confused because to you, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like playing a game where you actually care about winning. Here's the secret. You don't need more motivation than everyone else. You just need a clear target. Motivation is that feeling you get when you watch an inspiring video and you're pumped for like 3 hours. That's cool, but it fades. Vision is different. Vision is knowing exactly where you're going, so you keep moving even when you don't feel motivated. Think about it like this. If you're playing a game and you don't know the objective, it's boring. You're just clicking buttons. But if you know you're trying to reach level 50 or beat the boss or get that rare item, suddenly those same actions mean something. You're not just clicking buttons anymore, you're making progress. When you have your goal crystal clear in your mind, every small thing you do, every hour you spend practicing, every time you choose to work instead of hang out, it's not sacrifice, it's leveling up. Now here's where it gets interesting. Once you start moving towards something you actually care about, people notice, and not everyone's going to be supportive. In fact, the clearer your vision gets, the louder the haters become. Teachers, friends, even family members will tell you why your dream is unrealistic, why you should lower your expectations, why you should try something easier. What if you fail? Every single time. You have a choice. Listen to them and play it safe, or trust your vision and prove them wrong. The smart move? Prove them wrong. Every single time. Not because you think you're better than them, but because you need to realize something important. The people telling you something can't be done are usually people who never tried. They're not speaking from experience, they're speaking from fear. So start filtering what people say. When someone tells you that's impossible, translate it in your head to, I don't know how to do that, so I'm assuming you can't either. When someone says you'll fail, hear it as, I'm scared of failing, so I think you should be too. Big difference, right? It's not about being arrogant or ignoring everyone. It's about understanding that other people's opinions are based on their experiences and fears, not yours. And here's the plot twist you need to understand. The things people say will hold you back, those often become your biggest advantages. The stuff that makes you different, that makes you weird, that makes people uncomfortable, that's exactly what will make you stand out later. Because here's what school doesn't teach you. Being different is actually awesome. The world doesn't need another person doing exactly what everyone else does. The world needs people who think differently, who see things differently, who do things their own way. But you can't be different if you're always trying to fit in. You can't stand out if you're constantly trying to blend in with everyone else's expectations. When you stop caring what the doubters think, things change fast. Not because you suddenly become more talented, but because all your energy goes in one direction. No more internal battle. No more part of you trying to please everyone else while another part wants to chase your dream. Will you fail? Oh yeah. Massive failures are coming. Projects that will crash. Things that won't work out. Embarrassing moments you'll still cringe about years later. But when you have a clear vision, failure hits different. It's not the end of the world, it's just information. It's the game telling you that strategy didn't work, try something else. Every failure will teach you something. Every setback will actually set you up for the next attempt. Every door that closes, you'll find a window. Every person who says no, you'll get closer to finding someone who says yes. And eventually, things will start working. The impossible will start becoming possible. The people who said you'd never make it will go quiet. Not because you argued with them, but because results speak louder than words. The exact things they criticized you for, those will become the things that make everything work. The qualities that make you different will become your signature. The unconventional path will become the blueprint. So what does this mean for you? What can you actually do with this right now? First, get clear on what you want. Not what your parents want, not what would impress your friends, not what seems cool on social media. What do you actually want? What would you do even if nobody was watching? What makes you lose track of time because you're so into it? Write it down. Make it specific. Don't just say, I want to be successful or I want to be happy. Define it. What does your dream day look like? What time do you wake up? What are you working on? Who's around you? How do you feel? The more detailed, the better. Second, protect your vision from the doubters. You don't need to argue with them. You don't need to convince your math teacher or your skeptical uncle. You just need to not let their doubts become your doubts. Listen to people who've actually done what you're trying to do. Everyone else is just guessing. Third, understand that the path won't be easy. You're going to face obstacles. You're going to have moments where you want to quit, where everyone else is hanging out and you're working on your thing and you're wondering if it's even worth it. But if your vision is clear, if you really know why you want this, you'll find a way through. Not over, not around, through. Here's something nobody tells you. The people who achieve crazy things aren't superheroes. They're not born with special powers you don't have. They're regular people who got clear on what they wanted and refused to let anyone blur that vision. You have that same ability right now, today. Not when you're older, not when you graduate, not when you have more experience, now. The question isn't whether you can achieve something remarkable. The question is, are you willing to get clear on what you want and go after it even when people tell you it's impossible? Because once you do, the critics become background noise. The obstacles become challenges worth solving. The impossible becomes inevitable. That's the power of clarity. That's why vision matters more than talent, more than grades, more than what anyone else thinks you should do. So here's the final question. What do you actually want? Not the safe answer, not the answer that sounds good, the real answer, the one that makes your heart beat faster when you think about it. Figure that out. Make it so you can see it when you close your eyes. Then wake up tomorrow and take one small step toward it. You don't need permission. You don't need to wait until you're ready. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need clarity and courage. the clarity to know where you're going, the courage to start moving even when everyone is telling you to stay put. Your vision is waiting. Because the world doesn't need more people playing it safe. It needs more people like you, brave enough to see clearly and move boldly. So what are you waiting for?